Okay, everyone, this podcast is sponsored by Relief Band. You know, Jess and I love keeping everything we need in like our little makeup bag or our purse, oil blotting papers, lipstick. You know what you need to put in there this summer? Relief Band. It's the #1 FDA-approved anti-nausea wristband. And it's been clinically proven, you know I love that, clinically proven to quickly relieve and effectively prevent nausea associated with motion sickness, even anxiety, migraines. You know how sometimes that can give you nausea, hangovers, all of these things that sort of tend to happen when the heat turns up in the summer and you want to have some fun.
Relief bands are essential, especially for kind of like, I'm going to say it, Jen, a gal on the go. I take the ferry to the city. I take the bus. I'm in traffic all the time. And relief bands really work. Honestly, I didn't know how they worked for a while, but they work.
In case it's not clear, it's like the name says. Relief Band is legitimately a band you wear on your wrist, and it gives you relief from nausea and uses technology that works with your body. It's safe, drug-free, zero side effects. It's really simple. So if you want to make uncomfortable nausea moments a thing of the past, check out Relief Band. Right now, we have an exclusive offer just for Fat Mascara listeners. If you go to reliefband.com and use the promo code FATMASCARA, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head to Reliefband, RELIEFBAND, reliefband.com, and use our promo code FATMASCARA for 20% off plus free shipping. It's summer here in New York City. Guess what I have been wearing on my face all summer long? Tizo. I love this sunscreen. I wear the Tizo 3 tinted SPF 40, doubles as a makeup primer. It's so great. And why is it called Tizo? Because it's mineral. The name is the minerals. Tizo stands for titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. And these mineral sunscreens are the best choice for your skin. They're so good. 100% mineral sunscreen.
I'm going to use 3 words together that you never hear. Silky mineral sunscreen. The Tizo, you're actually going to look forward to putting this on every day. The formula blends so beautifully on all skin tones. The products are cruelty-free, they're ocean safe, and they're free of parabens, gluten, fragrances, dyes, and phthalates.
Love that. Go to tizoskin.com. I'm going to spell it for you. Tizo skin. You know how to spell skin. Tizoskin.com, and use the code FATMASCARA15 for 15% off your entire order. Again, that's tizoskin.com.
Okay, everyone, it is another Best of Fat Mascara. I am very excited for this one. This one is with Miranda Kerr. Miranda Kerr. This one is from quite a few years ago. Jen, this is like our old studio back at Embassy Row. Remember that?
It is. And just in case you have no idea who we are, I'm Jen Sullivan. She's Jess Matlin. This is Fat Mascara. You clicked on the thing.
They know. They saw the
I know. I
description.
just like to just give my call letters every now and then. WNBC.
WNBC.
Yes, we recorded this in 2017. And you know what? I actually was looking back to do a little like, oh, what's Miranda been up to? Update the listeners, because this was such a great interview. She was pregnant when we did this interview. She had her baby not too long after, and she announced the pregnancy right after. And I can't say if the glow was the pregnancy glow, but she has this like woo-woo crystal meditation glow about her that I was there for.
She did have a really beautiful glow. I remember we took a picture with her. Remember, it was the 3 of us. It was like a little selfie that we took in the lobby. She had a beautiful glow.
I think it was when that Kira filter was around. I remember her being like wanting to use that filter with like the sparkles. And I was like, this suits her personality. She says there's a little of a not divine. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean?
Like an ethereal spirit to her.
Yes.
Well, she talked to us about like how she had crystals in her floorboards, and she had like a crystal faucet that everything had like a crystal energy in her house.
Which I sometimes roll my eyes at, but like since this aired, I've come around somewhat. I'm more open to being like, Jen, you don't know everything. But anyway, she's the founder and CEO of Core Organics. There's a success story.
Mm-hmm. Now, remember, at the time, it was celebrity lines. It wasn't like there was one every week that was coming out, model lines. It was really kind of a new thing. Well, not new, but like...
Well, she launched it in 2009.
And she also, it was self-funded and still remains under her majority ownership. It's not like it was scooped up by one of the big guys. I feel like every day we read women's wear and there's something like everything is kind of acquired by some venture capital fund. No, this is hers, baby.
Maybe some learning points for you in there if you are a little beauty entrepreneur out there. She did it her way and she's kept control of it and really grown it. In fact, in 2021, Women's Wear Daily, so I guess what was that, 4 years after we recorded this, reported, like you said, that she still owns 95%. And she told them that she wants it to be the Estee Lauder of organics. So Miranda, I don't know if you're quite there yet. I mean, Mrs. Lauder, I don't know what she would say to that. She had a big personality, but so do you. So you're on your way. Honey, you're on your way, honey. No, I really enjoyed this interview. It's definitely one of our best of, one of our most popular interviews. And so here it is, me and Jess and Miranda Kerr. We're here with Miranda Kerr, who's the CEO of Kerr Organics, also a model. We're so glad you're here. You've come up on the podcast a couple times.
Oh,
Multiple
nice.
times. Yeah.
Actually, our first episode, makeup artist Rosemary Swift was the guest.
Oh, I love Rosemary. She's one of my best friends.
You guys go way back, right?
We do go way back.
She and her dog was here, and I was like,
My dog.
I think I recognize
Sorry.
that dog.
Fact check.
Fact check. That's my dog.
Frankie, right?
Frankie, yes.
Yeah, you're
No.
busy. You're a busy woman. I get it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that first. Before we get into Kerr Organics and running a huge international business, a lot of people know you for your modeling career. And I read recently that you were like, okay, I'm slowing down on the modeling. I'm running a business here. I have a family.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us, I don't know how many years you've been modeling, but like
20 years.
20
years.
Yeah, I started my first photo shoot when I was 13.
Jeez.
I think you're going to say like 4.
Oh,
You don't.
what? No.
How do you're ageless. Okay, we'll get to that at the end of the podcast when we
Thanks.
come with your products. Like,
Yeah. So, I
Okay.
mean, 20 years,
Whoa.
what is like a highlight for you? I mean, not that it's over. You're still going to model, I'm sure, when it's right for you.
Yeah, like when it, like as you've heard, like, you know, obviously my family, you know, my husband and Flynn, they're my priority. And then if, you know, and then obviously Cora is like number 2. And then after that, if like modeling jobs kind of can fit into that and they're going to shoot locally and
Yeah.
then I'll, you know, maybe do it. But it's not really like, it was really wonderful, but it's not my passion. You know, my passion is my skincare line, Kerr Organics, and I'm a very passionate mother and wife. So
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, I'm able to do that now.
Sure.
You know, and the modeling gave me the platform to do that. And, you know, I invested, you know, pretty much almost all of my money into Cora.
I think it was a wise
That's really smart.
investment.
Yeah,
really
it's like
smart.
I worked my butt off like for years, you know, traveling around the world and not making it to my friends' weddings and, you know, like missing it. Like everyone would go on holidays in Europe in the summer and I would be slogging away, working away and saving. And thank God I did, because that enabled me to be able to, you know, put that money into my business, you know.
did you always have that in your mind's eye when you started modeling? Like, okay, this is
Yeah.
great, but this is a means to an end.
Yes, it was always a means to an end. And I was never attached to it. I was like, listen, this is something like if I can do it and make money and get to travel the world, then I'll do it. But if it stops, like I didn't mind. I wasn't like, you know what I mean? I wasn't like looking for it. I was just like enjoying it, saving my money, you know, and trying to be smart about it really. Because I always thought this is a short-lived job. I never thought it would last as long as it did. Like,
Yeah. It sounds like I was going to ask you what some of the downsides of modeling were, but you sort of hit on them. But like, what were the highlights? You got to travel the world, but is there like shoots that you think back and you were just like, I cannot believe I had the opportunity to do that? Does any come to mind?
I've had so many of those, like wild shoots, like and like amazing shoots and incredible destinations, and like, I mean, I've seen the world and worked with like some of the most creative people in the industry, and it was such a fun experience, you know, like working with Stephen Meisel, and actually on the way down here we were talking about like how that kind of came about and like Italian Vogue and all of that, and then like, you know, I was thinking like Willy Vanderpeer shot me for like a few things actually in the beginning, and it was really him and the way that he kind of, because obviously I was doing Victoria's Secret before the fashion stuff kind of started, So I was always like quite the commercial girl, you know, and like I would always like be doing catalog for days, you know, and that was good to make the money. And, you know, I was like, great, you know, save it.
Smart.
And, you know, and then it was really like Willy Vanderpeer and Steven Meisel who like really had faith in my ability to be able to get into like the high fashion stuff. And Nicholas, obviously, Gassier. And, yeah, so the combination of those three, like really believing in me and working with me and not seeing me, like putting me in a box, like that was great because I got to express like an artistic side.
So not just a commercial, right, type of model.
Yeah.
Now, it's really obvious that you had a very clear headset and you were very determined as a model. Is there anything that you would say, though, if you're looking back, like, oh, you know, what do you wish you could tell your younger self, or any advice that you would have given yourself? To me, it seems like you were very calculated, but is there anything
like my family is very much like, because I started modeling young, like they discovered me when I was 13 through this competition in Australia. It's called Dolly Magazine. It's like,
Dolly. I've heard of that. Like, I feel like a lot of fashion people or beauty people have mentioned it.
They've mentioned Dolly,
Poppy King has mentioned it on the podcast.
Yeah, so Dolly Magazine is like a young magazine for girls, and they have this modeling competition, and a friend of mine entered myself and herself into it, and I ended up winning, and I had no idea about fashion. Like, I remember my first photo shoot, walking in and being like, oh, look at all these clothes. Oh, can I wear that? Can I wear that? And they're like, it doesn't work that way. And I'm like, what? And they're like, you're going to wear this. And I was like, I'm going to wear that brown top with those brown pants. Like, that's kind of like, you know, and they were like, yeah, that's what you're going to wear. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I finally understood that that's what, you know, that's how it went down. But I had no idea. And I didn't even buy magazines when I was a kid. Didn't know.
When you had these shoots, when you were coming in as a young model, even when you were more experienced, like, what's the longest someone sat you in a chair to do hair and makeup? You're obviously an expert in beauty now, but like, can you remember like just sitting there and being like, I can't believe I'm still sitting in this chair? Like, people think it takes, you know, half an hour, right?
Yeah, you wish, but when you're doing like, you know, I remember doing Japanese Vogue and my hairstyle was like quite big, and then you know, it was like these like kimonos and things and lots of layers, and I was just like, oh man, like this is like, you really have to have a lot of patience. Like, let me tell you, modeling has taught me patience in every regard, because they're always like, hurry up, and then they're like, and then you sit and like you wait.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, it's like hurry up and wait.
Could you spend more time prepping for taking the photo than actually taking the photo, do you think?
Sometimes, but then now that doesn't happen anymore, because I'm like, okay, come on, we can do it. And then I work with teams that know me and I know them, and like, and it's the same thing. Like, I work with photographers that I know, and like that way, you know, things are like seamless. Like, why would you want to put yourself through that?
Yeah, if you
I don't want to sit there for hours. I don't want to, like, I just can't. And like, I know that we can like get the same results if we do it, you know.
Do you get to pick your teams?
I do now, yes.
That's great.
Very lucky.
Who's on the Miranda team?
Oh, well, there's a few. There's a few. Depends, like, you know, where I'm working, if it's in New York or in LA. But, you know, like, I've worked with Rosemary Swift for years, and Hung and Lisa Story.
Sure.
Yeah.
The good ones.
Yeah.
Are there any like shoots that stand out in your mind that you've done with any of these folks that you really loved? Or just some of your all-time favorite shoots?
Probably my all-time favorite shoot was the Italian Vogue cover. Well, with Steven Meisel was like really, I mean, kind of anything, like even just like some little things I did for American Vogue with Steven were just like, they're just like timeless pictures. And Steven really, he knows like how to, he knows like, obviously he's a master of light. He's like he'll take a photo and like, it's just like perfect without having to do anything to it, because he just gets the light right. And like, and he's so efficient when he takes the photo. Like, he'll take like, maybe when he gets you into the position, he'll take like 8 to 10 like clicks, and he's like, okay, next.
You've got it.
And
You've got
I'm
the
like,
shot, right?
You know what? That's really good. When you're modeling, you're doing like, you know, however many photos, to be able to kind of have that kind of like, it's like a fluid kind of like dance, you know, and he just like, he's really good at that, because otherwise you do this and you do that and you try, and it's just like you're worn out by the time you get to the next photo, and you're only going to use one of those photos. So if you've got it, then why not move on? And like he's really the master of that. Like a lot of people, I feel like there are some photographers that are insecure, so they like take like, 10 different angles on one shot, and like
I feel like I'm guilty whenever I'm on set. I'm always like, let's just try it this way, just in case, to have it. So I'm annoying the models, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it just depends. It teaches you patience.
How do you get better as a model? I'm just curious. Like, is there, when you think about when you're starting out versus like how you are now, is it like a mental, like a Jedi mind trick, or do you think about something like? I know you don't want to give away your trade secrets, but like, I sometimes wonder. I mean, when I was younger, I remember thinking, and I know this is a very naive way to think, like, how can you be like a good model? Like, one girl's prettier than the next. I know that's not true anymore, but I remember somebody being like, so-and-so's amazing. I'm like, is she really? She's just really pretty. But now I know that there are good models and there are bad models. So what is a good model?
I feel like when you can really be in the moment, that captures the photo the best. And that's what Steven's so good at doing, because like he'll look at you and like connect with you, and then he'll like do this thing like you like, like show you this kind of facial expression he wants you to do, and then you kind of like...
He'll do it?
He'll do it. He'll like show you, and then you'll be like... And you do it, and you like... I don't know.
Mirror him?
It's like you mirror him, and like... And it's like he has this kind of confidence, and like if you have the right photographer and you have the right team, you can get the most incredible photos, even if like, say you're not a great model. But if you are a great model, then you know how to work with a lot of different teams. If you know like
it's
what
like
works for
almost.
you, it definitely is chemistry.
So it's not totally the model's fault if it's not a great shoot.
Oh my God, yeah, no, it definitely isn't.
So what's the best beauty tip that you've learned from all your years, like with people like Rosemary, Lisa, on set, with Steven?
Well, it really has a lot to do with, like you said, like the energy that you're feeling, and like, kind of owning whatever outfit it is that you're in, or like just like, just kind of like whether it's like music that can get you in the mood, or whether it's like, working with the right photographer. Like so many times, like I've had to like try to like help direct photographers and things like that. And it like, we actually end up getting better results, but I like really try to be like gentle about it and like not hurt their egos or anything. Because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get like a good result for everyone.
Right.
I'm like, hey guys, we're a team. Like, let's, work together. But obviously I didn't need to do that with Steven or Willie.
And before you even got into modeling, when you started to learn all this stuff, who did you look to for like beauty inspiration? Anyone in your family or actresses or things like that?
I grew up in this little country town in Australia, and I didn't really know much about, like, we didn't even have a television growing up, so I didn't really know much about, like, TV or...
When did you get your first TV?
Maybe I was, like, 15.
So many cool people I know grew up without television.
Yeah, same with my husband. He didn't...
I know a couple other people like that. That's interesting.
Like, we didn't have a TV, and... Like, I really think that was great because I was always outside in nature and, like, we didn't have magazines or anything. And
once you got a TV, were you into it? Like, did you ever put it on?
Not really.
Do you watch TV now?
Not really. I watch a movie every now and then,
Hear
but
that,
mostly
with kids?
You don't have a favorite show? Okay.
No. Right. I didn't have time for the longest time anyway to watch TV, even if I wanted to.
Yeah, you're on a plane or you're having chemistry with Steven Meisel.
And then most of the time on the plane, I just want to sleep because I'm so exhausted,
I'm sure.
I read that your grandmother was an influence in your life and that she
is.
Well, like a beauty secret, but more like a nutrition secret.
Yes.
With Noni?
Noni. Yes.
What did you used to do with Noni, and what is Noni?
So Noni is a superfood, superfruit, and it contains like high levels of antioxidants. It's got like over 100 vitamins and minerals. And my grandma introduced it to me when I was 13, and she's like, "Here, love, try some of this. It's good for you." I was like, "Okay." And
Does it only grow in Australia?
No, it's kind of like it originated in Tahiti, but they also grow it in Australia now. But it's such an incredible, nutritious. It's not so delicious, but my little
Wait, I'm drinking one of your superfood packet things right now.
Yes, so that is much more palatable than actual noni
Oh,
juice
I thought
itself.
this is what noni tasted like.
Well, there is like that contains noni. It also contains acai berry. It also contains matcha green tea and blueberry extract. And the combination of those flavors is much more delicious than just noni on its own.
And I put it in Sauvignon Blanc. Is that what you're supposed to
Oh, you
do?
can. You can. By the way, like I put it with champagne.
Really? I was like, I can't believe
I have a nonini. I put it with champagne. A nonini with champagne. Yeah.
I love it. I thought she was going to be mad at me that I put it in some white wine.
Oh my
No,
God, I'm
it's
serving those at my
amazing.
wedding.
Yes.
No ninis.
You getting
Maybe that's-
married?
Yes.
Aw, congratulations.
Thank you. Maybe that'll be the house drink.
should be the
signature
nonini.
drink.
And it's like a beauty drink.
It's beauty from the
God.
inside and then on the outside too.
Miranda Kerr, no nini.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
But you can also mix it with tequila. It's good with tequila too.
Okay,
Like you
that's a
do-
kind of wedding then.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can have a little tequila, a little coconut water, and a little of that skin food supplement. It's great. But
all
you can
about
also
balance.
obviously have it on its own with water, or you can put it in your smoothie. But
I love
the noni goes. It's about a balance, as you said. 80% healthy, 20% indulgence. That's my thing.
Grandma knew what's up. I
So,
guess.
Nan knew what was up.
did you have any favorite like beauty products that you bought, as a teen, as a young person, outside of the grandma noni recommendations? Where did you go to the Australian drugstore, department store, and buy?
You know what was really interesting is that the noni, if I ever had like acne, my grandma would put some on my face, like from the fridge, to get the noni juice out and just put it on my face and like say, okay, sleep at night and then wake up in the morning, you will be better. And it
the
was.
noni is a catch-all, or
And
Is it anti-inflammatory?
Multi-purpose.
anti-inflammatory. It's also, she would put it like, especially on sunburn as well, would just like completely calm the sunburn. And that's why I was like, okay, I need to make this the key ingredient in all of my products because it's incredible. And I've been drinking it every single day and put it on my skin since I was 13.
But did you buy anything, or was it just like all noni all the time?
What else did I buy as a
little
kid?
lip balm or anything?
Maybe a little lip balm, but we have, in Australia, the pawpaw.
Oh,
The
pawpaw.
Lucas pawpaw cream.
Yeah.
Papaya-based balm.
The pawpaw cream on your lips. But then I was told that it's actually not as healthy as people think it is. So don't be. I haven't looked into it myself. I haven't read the ingredients, but because I used it when I was young, like a long, long time ago. But I've heard that it's not that healthy.
Got it. Now, obviously, you grew up in Australia. We talked about that. Do you think there's a difference in the way you now sell your products around the world, and the way like an Australian woman consumes beauty versus the rest of the world? Like, what makes it you guys different, if anything?
Australians?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're like a multicultural country. In general, I feel like with Australians, like less is more.
Yeah.
Whereas, like if you kind of go out in Australia and you're just like wearing too much, people are kind of like, "What are you doing?" But maybe that's because I grew up in a little country town. I don't know.
Right.
Like I
More
couldn't go
low
out.
maintenance kind of.
It's kind of like keeping it really,
right.
simple.
This podcast is brought to you by Cash App, the all-in-one way to send, spend, save, and keep your money safe. It's great because no matter how hard life gets, Cash App keeps your money safe.
Thank God I have Cash App. It's a mess over here at the Sullivan household, trying to keep track of
I don't
keys,
mean to
wallet,
laugh.
phone. You've been to my house. You know there is a sign next to my door. It's a needlepoint artwork, and it says keys, wallet, phone.
Smart.
I know, but we lose and forget everything. We just lost another wallet here at the Sullivan household. Do not ask for details. The point of the story is that Cash App helps you track spending and make payments easy. Something easy in my life. It's secure, with or without your wallet, and you can get a free-to-order debit card.
Download Cash App in the App Store and Google Play to see why it's the #1 finance app in the U.S. App Store.
We have a new obsession here at Fat Mascara. It is Quince. It's our new go-to fashion shopping site. You know how we like to not lean into the fast fashion of it all. I like quality. I like a little luxury. I also don't like spending a lot. That's what Quince is all about. Instead of flimsy fast fashion hauls, you can spend your money on high quality stuff that will be timeless and will look beautiful for years to come.
Oh my God, I got something called a 100% European linen button front dress. This is the dress where you feel like you are in an Italian film. Maybe you're in a French film. I don't know. You're in a beautiful European, hazy, sunlit vacation with a little straw bag. For our European listeners, are probably like, stop with the European stuff. But you know what I'm saying.
The best part about that dress, I know that dress. It's under $50.
It's under $50. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium eco-friendly fabrics and finishes.
Upgrade your closet this summer with Quince. Right now, go to quince.com/fatmascara. I'm so excited we have a website with them. I love this site. Quince.com/fatmascara to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/fatmascara for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/fatmascara. Okay, let's talk about my hair and your hair. Let's talk about Vegamour. I am always looking for products that can help my hair be fuller, thicker, shinier, all of that. Vegamour really works. I started using it at the beginning of the summer. It's almost like my hair is growing too much. I know that's like poor me, bad problem to have, but the Vegamour Grow Essentials kit, something is working there. I needed like 3 haircuts this summer, which is unusual for me.
I want my hair to grow more. I can deal with that problem. When you have Vegamour's value kits, like the Grow Essentials kit, you get to try even more than one amazing product at a great savings. When you sign up for a monthly subscription, you save more and you never run low on the products that you need to take care of your hair.
That's the worst, when you go in the shower and it's like, where did all the product go? Never happens with Vegamour. Give yourself the hair you never thought you could have with Vegamour. For a limited time, Fat Mascara listeners get 20% off their first order by going to vegamour.com/fatmascara and using the code FATMASCARA at checkout. That's Vegamour, VEGAMOUR. Vegamour.com/fatmascara. The code is FATMASCARA to save 20% on your first order. That's Vegamour, VEGAMOUR.com/fatmascara. Jess, what's that code?
Fat Mascara.
You've been the face for multiple brands over the years, but eventually you decided to start your own.
Yes.
Like, how long were you thinking about that? When did you launch it? Why did you start it? Like, let's just get right into it.
Yeah, so in 2009, I started working with these organic chemists in Australia, and I said, listen, this is what I want to create. I want the key ingredient to be noni. I'm passionate about health and wellness, like, you know, these are some other ingredients that I'm really into, like rosehip oil, sea buckthorn, green tea extract, chamomile, like all different ingredients. And I was like, you know, I want the brand to be certified organic, and I want, like, I would love to filter them all through rose quartz so that it was like...
Oh, you filter through quartz.
Rose quartz, yeah.
I didn't realize that. We've talked about that on the podcast.
So the kind of 3 main differences with Cora is that A, it's certified organic. Mm-hmm. B, it's all the products are filtered through rose quartz to give that kind of magical element and, like, you know, encourage whoever is using the products or coming into interaction with the products, like, encourage that kind of, like, self-love and kind of, you know, kind of encourage, like, I don't know, just like, I don't even know how to explain it, but just like have that little bit of good vibes, the positivity, and then the noni. So yeah, the rose quartz and then the noni. It's in every product.
Nice.
And so, you know, that, you know, to me is like, I was, when I was, you know, I'd been modeling for such a long time and I've tried pretty much every product out there, you know, from skincare to makeup. And, you know, I was like, I really hadn't found a product that was certified organic, because there are a lot of products out there that claim to be organic and they just have one organic ingredient. But when you're certified organic, like we're certified organic through EcoCert Cosmos.
Is that still like the dawn of like organic certification?
It's like the world certifying body. And let me tell you, it's a nightmare for me because they're so strict with all of their rules, not only with, our formulations and where we get everything from, and we use like the highest quality certified organic products, but they're also super strict with the packaging. So that's why when we first launched in Australia in 2010, we were very, very limited with our packaging. So that's why all the whole range was like this color. And
what
we
are the
weren't
limits?
able.
Let me see this color. She's pointing to this like pretty aquamarine.
Yes. So for instance, when I first launched, there are different like compartments, like say for instance, like this sprayer. And so we have to go out and find a manufacturer that, will have this kind of sprayer and I want it to look pretty or whatever. I didn't have that option before in Australia because there weren't manufacturers supplying this that EcoCert approved because the need and demand wasn't there.
Is it because might have BPA or something like that? Yeah.
So that all these are like, there are no BPA and they're all highly recyclable. But then on top of that, they need to be airtight because they're all organic. Right. And so like every little compartment, like on the outside, and even on the inside and on the outside, and then even on the packaging, like on the outside, it needs to be certified through EcoCert. So
I thought it was only the formulas, but it's the
no,
package
it's not just the formulas; it's the package as well. So it's like a nightmare trying to find. And then the fact that there weren't that many manufacturers making it for certified organic because it wasn't such a big trend when I launched in Australia in 2010. But now everyone's like suddenly like wanting to get into organics, and I'm like, hey guys, like, like
I'm OG.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, yeah, why didn't you do this a little earlier? Because like I wanted to have beautiful packaging for the beautiful products that I've created, and and I'm just really excited now that we're able to have this packaging that I'm really excited about, and like really
expand.
Yeah, and then also to be able to expand into America, because originally, like, we're in Australia in over 300 stores, but coming to America, it's such a big financial investment for me.
Yeah.
Because I have to put everything down, like, you have to buy every little ingredient beforehand and all the packaging beforehand. So it's like a big investment that you have to like put down.
And pray someone orders it.
And just pray that like it's going to all work out, because it was like a big risk for me to take.
Once you started making your own products and you were still modeling, would you ever get to set and be like, you obviously have a love of organic products and want clean stuff on your skin. Could you say, listen, don't put X on me. Like, I don't want to have this chemical on me anymore when you can have this alternative? Or do you not always have that option?
Well, I would say, hey, do you mind if we use this?
And what was
not
the response?
Like, hey, like, don't put that on me, like, back off. But just like, hey,
smack the brush out of their hand.
Yeah, like, whoa, back off. No, I'd be like, hey, do you mind if we use this? Like, see what you think, because I've been using it and I really love it. Like, for instance, I mix the Noni Glow face oil with like a couple of drops with a couple of drops of the moisturizer, and it's a really good like base before you put your foundation on.
So instead of them like priming with a primer,
exactly,
or whatever, like,
try this.
Yeah.
And
you're very diplomatic, Miranda. I feel like
thanks.
I would just be like, don't put that on me.
I know, but everyone's different. But for me, I'm just, trying to be kind, trying to keep it real, and just be like, okay.
And okay, side note, I heard that you're a health coach.
Yeah, certified health coach.
Certified health coach. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Coach us, please.
I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to be coached. It's like they say you need to be ready.
You got to be ready.
Yeah. Okay. Can you at least give us a couple of tips, and how has it influenced Cora? Is there a connection here?
Well, I really feel that health is wealth. So if you take care of your body, it will take care of you. And it's not just about taking care of your body, with what you eat. It's the way that you think. It's like work-life balance. It's like that whole mind, body, spirit connection.
So how do I need to think? Help.
Well, I guess if you choose a positive thought over a negative thought, then you have that choice.
Health is wealth. Positive thought over negative thought.
Yes.
These seem simple enough.
No, but
Like you can choose your thoughts and you can choose your reality. Like
I know you sell like a deck of cards for affirmations from your book.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite? Like, which one should I pick?
Yeah, what's the hot one?
I don't know. I mean,
I almost bought them because I just wanted to go through and like pick one up every morning. But then I was like, I'll have actual Miranda here. I'll just ask her.
I really like the one, like for me,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, they're like, what? I'm like, but the one I like is like every cell in my body radiates with love, knowingness, and bliss. So it's like you imagine like every cell in your body is like, it's, you know, it's radiating with love, with knowingness, and with bliss. Who wouldn't want that?
I want that.
Like, I'm alive, you know, I'm alive, I'm a vibrant being of love
Do you say
and
these
light.
things to yourself?
I mean, I have very positive self-talk, and it's a conscious choice.
Were you always like that? Were you brought up like that? Or did
I was
something
brought
like
up like
happen
that.
where you started like say, hey, Miranda, I would think like this?
I was brought up, like I was like born very like generally like quite happy, but at the same time, both of my parents would like read me like, they were young parents. They had me when my mum was like 17 and my dad was like 20, and they're still together now.
That's lovely.
Yeah, they're a really good team. And so they were like all into positive thinking when I grew up, and my dad would like read me things from like Og Mandino, or like my mum's like, let your light shine, and you know, like, and my mum was also she's a very hard worker. So she's like, if you're going to do something, do it properly or don't do it at all. So I like have that kind of ingrained into me. But, you know, I went through like a couple of stages in my life where I really wasn't like that a lot. Like when I was 16 and my boyfriend who was 18, he passed away instantly in a car accident. So I had to learn to change my thoughts, because otherwise I would be like sobbing all day and like heartbroken and feeling sorry for myself. So instead I had to change my thoughts and go, hey, like, you know, I'm really glad and grateful that we met, and, you know, and that we had the experiences that we did together, because we grew up like spending a lot of time together, and he was like my best friend. And, you know, and obviously I recognized the fact that I missed him, and I allowed myself to grieve for him, but then I chose to be happy, and I like changed my thoughts so that I could change my reality. And I was like, you know, I felt like that was really powerful, because I remember going to see like, you know, someone to talk to, like a counselor or whatever, because I was like in school one day and I like all of a sudden just like couldn't stop crying. So I went to the counselor, and I just realized at that point when I was like talking to her that there was nothing that she could do to help me, that I really had to help myself.
Thought.
You know, there was nothing that my mom could do to help me. There was nothing that my friends could do to help me. Like, I had to really help myself. And like, and at 16 to learn that was like pretty incredible, you know, like, and also learn that life is a very precious gift, and that we really need to be present with those that we love, and like let those people around us know how important they are, because we just don't know. Like, life is, you know, can be so fragile. And then, so, you know, I gradually, like, I remember just being like scared to even talk to people, because I'd be scared if they'd say, oh, so do you have a boyfriend? And then I'd like break into tears, you know?
Oh my God, yeah.
So, you know, and I'd had just moved up to Queensland, which was like far away from my country town where we lived, like I grew up. And so I was like kind of in a new place, and like people were like, and they didn't know, you know what I mean? So it was like hard.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you just have to choose your thoughts. And that's why I really got into doing that and practicing that, and being grateful for like the small things. Like, if you can just be grateful, like, oh, you know what? I'm really grateful that I have my sight. I'm really grateful that, you know, I have a roof over my head. I'm really grateful that, you know, I can have a fresh shower, you know, like those things that we can all seem to take for granted. Like, if we can have that kind of gratitude every day, then we can, you know, be happy.
It just makes everything better.
It puts
like,
everything into
snowballs,
perspective, you know, and I feel like, you know, we all have things to be grateful for, and being human, like everyone goes through challenges. And to be honest, that's what really creates so much depth of character. And that's really what makes someone who they are when they do go through challenging times. You know, life is not amazing all the time for everyone, you know, and it's like, if you can just like appreciate both the challenging times and the positive times and just kind of like ride the wave no matter where you're at, then it's like it's much easier.
Thank you. No,
Yeah.
that was really, really, I don't know, I'd say helpful. Yeah, no, it also came at a really good time.
Oh, good.
Because we have the heart chakra here. It's like
Yeah.
kind of appropriate. This is one of your aromatherapy oils.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not just into skincare and everything. Do you think that like a fragrance like this does more than just like, oh, it smells pretty?
Yeah, for me, it really does. I mean, that blend was made for me when I was going through like probably like the second hardest time that I've been through in my life was when Orlando and I got divorced and separated. And I just like, at first I was kind of like, woohoo, I'm a free woman. I was relieved, you know, like that kind of first moment of denial. And then like 2 months after, I was like, I just slipped into this like really intense depression where I like couldn't get myself out, and I kept trying to change my thoughts and I couldn't. And I spoke to my aromatherapist in Australia who works with me on core organics because we use aromatherapy throughout the whole range. And she made me this blend, which is specifically made to nurture your heart and to comfort your spirit. And it contains rose otto and lang lang and sandalwood and cedarwood. So those
What would you do with it?
supercharged
Just, like-
oils. So I would put it on my pulse points and then put it directly on my heart and like smell it. And it's just like it really worked for me. Like it's instantly like made me feel more like calm.
It's very calm.
And it felt to me like I feel like the closest thing that I could describe it to is like it felt like I was, you know, I know it sounds silly, but it felt like I was like getting a hug, like a nurturing hug, you know?
You're going to think I'm making this up and being a big fat liar, but that's exactly how I was going to describe it. It feels like a little hug.
It feels like
I don't
a
know
little
if that's
hug.
the rose or like what it is, but it is very
It's very nurturing.
yeah, and usually I feel like vanilla scents are the huggy scents, but this does have
This
a
is
hug
a huggy
quality.
one.
I don't know how.
Also,
but-
it went through rose
It
quartz.
goes rose quartz
Remember?
to give the vibration of love. Like all of them went through rose quartz, you know.
how does the rose like? Is there a rose quartz in the vat?
Oh,
What
there's
is-
a rose
in the-
quartz,
yeah.
like a big one, and
Yeah.
it gets like cleansed by the sun and
Yeah.
and energized and that by the sun and the moon, and they clean it in like salt water, and then they put it back in, and then everything like goes through it. And
Where
the
are
ones
your-
that were mine rose quartz that I had.
Are there amazing crystals in your home?
Yes, I have crystals
God.
everywhere.
That's awesome.
Huge,
big
like
fat ones.
big, like I have a big in Malibu. You probably can see it online somewhere in like my house. Like I have this big clear quartz. I also have like these huge like geodes of amethyst. I have rose quartz around a tree at home. Like
wow.
it's like the love corner of my you know, in like feng shui. There's like the love corner. There's like a tree outside, like outside of my bedroom, and like there's all rose quartz around, like big chunks of rose quartz.
Are there like crystal dealers in LA or like you know, I don't mean dealers. Dealers is the wrong word, but like, are there people who specialize in that in
Yeah.
Los Angeles?
Yeah.
I think that sounds so dignified. Like, I went from
They're-
dealers
they-
to,
they
are there
have, like-
specialists? Are there like
They have
at
like
Sotheby's? Does Sotheby's have a
No.
an area?
Not that I'm aware of.
I can't help. Appraisers.
Yeah, but no, they have like big like crystal like fairs and things, and like I have a lady who like goes to them, and she'll be like sending me pictures like, hey, what do you think of this one? Or like
Almost
you know,
like artwork.
yeah, like artwork.
Cool.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm vibing that. How do you feel about it? You know, and like she's like, yeah, I think you're right. Like try this one. Oh yeah, that one feels good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It sounds like a crystal dealer. That's what we're going to call her.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Fat Mascara. We can't let you leave without talking about products a little bit. Obviously, you use all the products that you've made, but like on a lazy day, you're just hanging out with the kids and the fam. Do you put all this stuff on, or what's your like basics?
My basic is cleanse, mist, and moisturize.
Oh, cleanse, mist, moisturize.
That's really easy.
Really easy.
CMM.
CMM.
Yes.
Yeah.
And which cleanse?
3-step.
There's only one cleanser, right?
No,
one's
we have
yours?
3.
Yeah.
I go between the cream cleanser and the foaming cleanser. And sometimes I like do both because I like to use the cream cleanser to kind of like remove my eye makeup and then, you know, and like do the first cleanse and then the foaming to do the second. I know
Okay.
it sounds selfish, but that's just, I like to do it that way.
No.
And then mist my face. I like to use like, it depends. Right now I'm kind of gravitating towards the rose mist, but this citrus mist is incredible. And then the lavender mist is incredible. Like, because all these are made by my aromatherapist, and this lavender one is great to use before bedtime.
Do you put it on your face or the pillow?
On my
or
face
both?
and the pillow.
Is there
So I
any
keep this one
product in
next to
there
my
right now?
bed. Yes. Let me just check it's the right one because these are samples. Yeah, this is really great.
Nice.
The lavender is
We're gonna
really
miss
soothing.
ourselves.
And then, and so what's your moisture? Do you do the oil or the cream moisturizer? Or?
I use the hydrating day and night.
Hydrating day and night.
That one right there is the oily one, but I use the
Love it.
hydrating day and night. And I mix it with a couple of drops of the Noni Glow face oil
Right.
because that's just like, for me, the best combination to kind of get that glow. And then I put powder down the center, like after I've like, so that's a good base for makeup. And you know,
Does your family think this is great, this whole noni thing? Like,
They
is it
do.
just, I mean, they must just be like over the moon that like, you know,
Yeah,
like, it's
my-
like your family heritage, just like
it
coming
really
through.
is. It is. And also, you know what? I designed, I still design teacups for Royal Albert, which is another licensing deal. Didn't put my money into that one.
Yeah.
But I make money from it, which is great.
And the family's really into
and
the
the family's really into the teacups
so
because
cool.
when I was a little girl, my grandmother had this like treasured chest and she would keep all her Royal Albert, Royal Dalton teacups in there. And we'd sit and have like a cup of tea and like she would talk to me about like, you know, her childhood memories or like the mischief she used to get up to and like, and so, you know, to me when I had the opportunity to design these teacups, I was like, I kind of did that for my nan because I know like, obviously I love designing and I love the creative aspect of it. And I really have a connection to the teacups because of her, but I like was really like excited to know that she would be able to put them in like her cabinet and like
That's sweet. You call her your nan?
my nan, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, mascara, because it's fat mascara. You still wear makeup. It's not like you're...
Yeah.
Lest anybody think she's just like rolling around in
No.
quartz crystals and no makeup.
No.
You're a
It's-
glamour girl. You can
And
be
also
glamorous.
the thing is it's about a balance. Like I said, 80% healthy. And if you can make a conscious choice of what you're putting on your skin, because the skin is the largest organ on the body. So if you're putting, you know, products on there that fill it with nutrients and also help detoxify it, then why wouldn't you? Like it's a no-brainer to me. Like why would you want to fill your body with chemicals?
Right.
You know?
But when you
And
do
at the
it-
end of the day, like healthy skin is beautiful skin, you know? But then obviously there's makeup that I wear that's not organic and that's fine for me because it's like part of that like 20%. But like
Right.
80% of what I do is like, you know, I'm putting on the large areas of my body, all my core organics, you know, and on my skin.
Well, tell us about the 20%
Yeah.
then. Like what's on your lashes right now?
Oh, right now it's the Charlotte Tilbury mascara.
Another one. I
Yeah.
swear, like
I like
every
Charlotte
other,
Tilbury mascara.
every other person that comes into the studio mentions her products. That's
She
crazy.
did the makeup for your wedding, right?
No, I did.
didn't?
I
Oh, I'm
used,
so sorry.
I used her.
The lipstick, right?
Lipstick.
Okay, I thought it was so clever
Which-
because she said you wore her lipstick, so I thought she was.
Which shade is your
Lipstick?
Shade? Yeah.
It was Walk of Shame, which is funny.
For a wedding.
For
I
a wedding,
love it.
not like Walk Down the Aisle. It was Walk of Shame mixed with Amazing Grace.
Nice.
Yeah,
And then we talked about fragrance with is the aromatherapy oils your only thing, or do
it
you,
is now.
It's
I
pretty.
can't really wear anything else.
What about like any candles or anything?
Oh, yeah.
I have a friend. Her name's Holly Starr, and she has candles that she makes, and the candles that she makes are like really pure, and they have intention. And there's a company called Matter and Home, and that's where she makes candles for. And she actually uses like crushed rose quartz in one of her love
cool.
candles. So I really
Are they
like.
scented?
Not really. Maybe a little because she uses like crushed like petals, like rose,
Right.
real petals, not like they're not synthetically scented. They're like the real deal.
Got it.
And she's a magic girl too.
What magic girl?
Yeah, she's magic.
Are you
know,
a-
like some
are you a
people-
magic girl?
I'm very much into
Are
magic.
we magic girls?
Yeah, you girls are magic.
Thanks for coming.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Razor One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.